Calligraphy is an enormous subject. It's paper making, it's book making, it's ink making, it's just a whole bunch of adjunct things that you wouldn't expect. I love what I do. I'm anxious to give everybody the knowledge that I have. And I've written millions of wedding invitations, maybe only 750,000. I'm a mother, I'm a calligrapher, I have 3 children. I've spent a lot of time with them. I have a wonderful husband, and calligraphy is not my only job. When I was 14, my mother sent me to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh. It was downtown Pittsburgh. And one of the classes was to draw letters and fill them in. And she said, "Oh, Myrna, you're so talented." And I said, "Oh, Ma." So I never did anything with it until I was 35 years old. And my mother had given me a pen when I had that last child, and I was sick in bed. So I practiced with the pen in bed. And a friend of mine said, "Oh, that's so beautiful. Will you write my wedding invitations?" And that's really how I started. I took a baby class somewhere, a baby calligraphy class, and someone suggested I go to this lecture about my mentor, who was Arnold Bank. And that was, well, in the early 70s, I think, maybe even 69, I think. And I said, "Oh, I'm so afraid." And he said, "Come on, I'll take you." And he took me by the hand with 3 children, and he said, "Professor Bank, my wife is talented. She wants you to teach her." And he said, "Well, bring her in." And with that, in 1974, I became his student. He was frightening. I'll tell you, everybody in the department was scared of him except me. I'll tell you, a person would come into the class and he would say, "Who told you to murder that A?" To this day, people say to me, I was afraid of him. But he had his tender moments and his tenderness towards letters. And what say? The ambassador of the 26 letters. What can I say? He was just, to me, a wonderful teacher. When he opened his mouth, I went to the library to see what was happening. He would mention a book, I would go to the library. I couldn't have done it without him because he did all the domestic work while I got ink on my hands. Whatever Saturday errands had to be done, shoes, dentist, whatever for the kids, he did. And I'm very lucky, very appreciative, because I've been free to pursue. And I mean, he was just always there to help me. He would never let me carry anything. So even when I started here, he wouldn't let me carry my stuff upstairs. He'd put me upstairs, he'd take me up by the hand, and then he'd bring all of my stuff up. And I was so, for many years, I was so eager to share everything that I bring so many books from home and paper and paint, and he put up with all of that. Eventually, as I got older with him, I fell a couple times. I broke some ribs. A couple times I was lucky and didn't break anything, but he was afraid that I would fall. So from then on, he insisted on staying here with me. So he reads a book or whatever, and if I fall, he'll pick me up. I couldn't have done it without him, let's put it that way. He's always says, "I'm very proud of you." And it's not common for a husband to not be jealous. I started small. I did not expect what became of me. And I still, to this day, I'm just a plain person who likes to teach writing and to practice.
I was with her last night. Last night?
Yeah.
And I was sitting at this table, and I was watching her with two students who were advanced, and she was spending. I was going to get up and say, Myrna, you're spending too much time with those kids. I mean, but she made it around, and it was getting late, but she made it around to every kid that was there.
I just got a letter from a former student who said, I hate these classes. She said, you're the best teacher I've ever had because you paid attention to me and to everybody, which is my way. I can't help it. I feel as though I have to give and give and give some more. They're grateful.
I noticed that every one of them practically, when they leave, as they're walking out, they say, thank you, Myrna.
Yeah.
Thank you, Myrna, which is really nice. I mean, they just aren't anxious to leave the room.
Yeah.
It's intimate. That's how I am.
If you took her class, you know that if you wanted to get up and walk out, you could.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to talk to somebody, and every once in a while you hear a group of them laughing or something.
Yeah.
And it just goes over her head. I mean, she doesn't, and they seem to enjoy the class as well.
I think that you need good direction and some criticism, or though we get anywhere, patience. I think students need patience. But if you could just sit and dip your pen in that ink and watch the trail of ink sparkle, it gets you right here.